Good afternoon. In the last class, we were talking about the basic amplifier applications of op-amp. We spoke about inverting, non-inverting amplifiers, and then we also discussed in the previous class about how op-amp can be used to amplify DC signals. What are the various configurations in which it can amplify DC signals, and also about how it can amplify AC signals. So op-amp is a circuit which can amplify both AC as well as DC signals, as we can see. And we have shown how it works like a DC inverting amplifier in this first one, how it works like a DC non-inverting amplifier, the second one, and how it works like a DC differential amplifier with two DC input signals to generate a difference, a scaled difference of the input at the output. And we discussed how we can have compensation for offset voltage by connecting a potentiometer between pins 1 and 5 and connecting the negative of the power supply to that. So all these circuits will make use of this offset null circuitry. We call this additional potentiometer which we connect between pins 1 and 5 as the offset null circuitry, and those pins were called offset null pins. And then we said if we don't have this offset nulling circuitry in some op-amps, MUA741, the Fairchild op-amp has offset null pins, but certain op-amps don't have those offset null pins. In those op-amps where the offset nulling pins are not available, I have to do it externally. So I'll use an external compensating circuit to compensate for that offset voltage or the error voltage. Please remember, offset or error voltage is that voltage which appears at the output when both input signals are 0. Okay, so that happens because of the mismatch between the two transistors in the differential pair used within an op-amp. Remember, op-amp has two differential pairs used, and if there is mismatch in the beta value of the transistor, which is usually true, there will always be some small error voltage which appears at the output even when both input terminals are grounded. That can be avoided by compensating using external circuitry. So this is through external circuitry compensation. And one more thing which you should remember when we write all these circuits is to check what is the Thevenin's equivalent resistance from one of the input terminals to ground. Wherever you have connected the resistances, if you check the Thevenin's resistance from, say, inverting terminal here to ground, the same amount of resistance should be connected from non-inverting terminal to ground to avoid the input offset voltage or the input error voltage. And that is done even in these op-amp DC amplifiers where we have used external offset voltage compensation. So whatever I've shown within circle, we discussed how it will help us in compensating and removing the error. The same thing here, external compensating circuit for everywhere it's the same. I'll have a potential divider, and the middle terminal of that divider will be connected to a potentiometer which is normally connected between the positive and negative supplies. Then we said op-amp will work like an AC amplifier also commonly. It can amplify, remember, both AC as well as DC signals. How do you define an op-amp? Op-amp is a high gain differential amplifier which can amplify both AC and DC signals. Please remember that. Okay. So we also use coupling capacitor whenever we study the two things which you should remember for AC amplifiers. So again, we'll be using the same set of amplifiers, inverting, non-inverting and all difference amplifier. But whenever we use it as an amplifier for AC signals, we will always use coupling capacitors. So we will normally use coupling capacitors whenever we amplify AC input signals. And the other important thing is whenever we operate at AC with AC signals, the bandwidth of the amplifier becomes important. It's an important parameter to measure. So how efficiently an amplifier works as per design in what range of frequencies. So you'll be finding the lower cutoff frequency FL based on the value of this coupling capacitor. Since you're going to use a coupling capacitor, that coupling capacitor decides what would be the lower cutoff frequency for the circuit. And the higher cutoff frequency will be determined by the device capacitance. So we saw the circuits of op-amp AC inverting amplifier. If you notice, it's the same circuit as op-amp op-amp DC inverting amplifier. And I told you to remember there will be two additional things in AC amplifier. One is this coupling capacitance here, CI, what we have used. And the other is this resistance Rin also equal to Ro, which we consider as the signal generator resistance. And remember, it will be the resistance of the previous stage, the output resistance of the previous stage when I am using a set of cascaded amplifiers as shown in this figure. So if I cascade 3 amplifiers, then R0 or Rin will represent the output resistance of the previous stage. Okay, and that should be included whenever we consider AC amplifiers, because it will have a tendency to reduce the actual voltage which will be carried to the input of the basic amplifier. So there will be some drop across that resistance, and which will cause a reduction in the input as well as output voltage. Hence we have to consider that. And always we couple AC signals through capacitors because they will prevent DC signals of different stages from affecting each other. One stage DC conditions should not affect the DC conditions of the previous or the next stage. That's why we always use separating or coupling capacitors between stages to give input and to measure the output. So the gain and the lower cutoff frequency, as I told you, the expression for lower cutoff frequency is always in the form 1 by 2 pi RC. Here C value is this coupling capacitance Ci, and the series resistance value is this R0, which is the resistance, output resistance of the previous stage, which appears in series with the signal Vin, plus RIF. And what is RIF? Remember, RIF represents the input AC resistance of this inverting amplifier. And in an inverting amplifier, we know that RIF will approximately be equal to, RIF is approximately equal to R1 for an inverting amplifier. Remember that. And non-inverting amplifier also a similar circuit, you see, except the addition of this coupling capacitance C to connect the input signal in series with the output resistance of the previous stage. And we know this resistance connected from non-inverting terminal to ground should be same as the Thevenin's resistance from inverting terminal to ground. If the expression for gain and the lower cutoff frequency is as shown. We did a problem also. Now let's move on to the next application of op-amp. One of the most commonly used application. This device is named as operational amplifier because of its ability to add, subtract, integrate, differentiate, and do various mathematical operations on the signals. So since we are using such a device which performs different mathematical operation on the signals, let's try to see how these mathematical operations can be performed. So let's try to analyze and see how the mathematical operations can be performed. Here, make a note of this circuit. This is the circuit of an op-amp inverting summing amplifier. Let me call this as a summing amplifier. The same circuit can be made to work like a simple adder. It can be made to work like an averaging circuit. We'll see how all this can be done. So first thing, we'll call it as a summing amplifier. As you can notice, we have given three input signals VA, VB and VC through resistors RA, RB and RC to the inverting terminal in parallel. You can see VA, VB, VC are connected to the inverting terminal in parallel. Let me consider the voltage at the inverting terminal as V2, the feedback resistance as RF, and the load resistance as RL. And I know that I should connect a resistance which is the Thevenin's resistance seen from inverting terminal to ground. So can you tell me what will be the Thevenin's resistance between inverting terminal to ground? When I try to apply Thevenin's theorem, you will see RA connected from inverting terminal and all voltage sources should be grounded. Again, we are going to have what? RB connected from inverting terminal, this resistor, and this point will be grounded. And then I will have RC connected from inverting terminal to ground, the third resistor. Wherever I have voltage sources, I should ground. And other than that, I have this resistance RF also connected from inverting terminal to ground. I have to what? Connect this V0 as ground because I am trying to find the Thevenin's resistance. All voltage sources should be replaced with short circuit. So what will be the effective resistance between inverting terminal and ground? The effective resistance seen between inverting terminal and ground will be RA in parallel with RB, in parallel with RC, in parallel with RF. I have all these four resistors appearing in parallel between the inverting terminal to ground. Now, if I should avoid input offset error or input offset voltage error, I have to connect the same amount of resistance between the non-inverting terminal and ground. That's why we have connected RA parallel, RB parallel, RC parallel, RF. So the same amount of resistance is connected between non-inverting terminal and ground to avoid error voltages. Okay. So now first let's derive the expression for output voltage. I've already written the expression for output voltage here. I think you're familiar with the derivation. Can you just recall the steps what you have done? One of the simplest derivation. We will use the concept of virtual short between the two input terminals. So we know that there is a virtual short existing between the input terminals. That means the voltage at the inverting node, which is V2, is equal to the voltage at the non-inverting node, which is V1. That means, what is the voltage at the non-inverting node? The non-inverting node is connected to ground. So all these voltages will be 0 volts. Whatever voltage I have here, this is at 0 volts. The same voltage 0 will appear at the inverting terminal also. Now, at this node V2, you can apply KCL. Yes or no? Apply KCL at node V2. What are the currents entering? You can see this input signal VA is generating current IA. So IA is entering. The signal VB is generating current IB. IB is entering. The signal VC is generating current IC. So IC is entering. There are three currents entering the node. And which are the currents leaving this node? One is this IB2. So according to Kirchhoff's current law, sum of all the currents entering the node should be equal to sum of currents leaving the node. So IB2 is one current which is leaving the node and IF is the other current which is leaving the node. Hence, sum of currents entering is equal to sum of currents leaving as we have written here. But we clearly know an op-amp has very high input impedance here. The Rin or Ri which we have is very high. So I can practically assume that the current going into an op-amp is always very small. I can make this current approximated to 0. So IB2 is the current which is trying to enter into the op-amp. Because the op-amp internal impedance is very high, we can assume the current going in that resistance is almost 0. So what am I left with? I am left with IA plus IB plus IC is equal to IF. Now our job is to write the value of currents as voltage divided by resistance. So can I write the value of IA in terms of the voltage to resistance ratio? What is the voltage drop across this resistor RA? It is VA. Since the current is flowing in this direction, this end is more positive when compared to other end. VA minus V2 divided by RA is equal to the current IA. Similarly, VB minus V2 by RB is the current IB and VC minus V2 by RC is the current IC. And what is the value of V2? We have already told that by using the concept of virtual short, V2 and V1 will both be 0. V1 is already connected to ground, so it is 0. This one. Even if it is connected to ground through a resistance, it won't matter. That resistance is only to nullify error. So since V1 is grounded, which is 0 volts, we know the very high gain of the op-amp creates a virtual short circuit between the two input terminals. It causes V2 also to be at 0 potential. Therefore, I can put V2 as 0 in all these places and substitute in this KCL equation. You will be able to simplify and get an expression for V0. I think I have it in my next slide. Please have a look at this. 2 minutes. Okay, sorry. As I was telling you, all you need to do is just substitute and simplify. So if I put V2 as 0, remember, sorry, VA minus V2 by RA plus VB minus V2 by RB plus VC minus V2 by RC will be equal to, on the right hand side I have IF, and what would be the current IF? So the current IF is in this direction. So I will have V2 minus, this end of RF is at V2 potential and this end of RF is at output voltage by RF. This will be your equation when I substitute all the current values as ratio of voltage by resistance. Next, if I put V2 as 0, this equation will simplify to this form. As you can see, when you put V2 as 0 because of virtual short, this equation will be simplified to this form. And now I want to try to find an expression for the output voltage V0. So I'll retain V0 on the right hand side and I'll shift this minus RF to the other side. So I will get minus RF by RA into VA minus RF by RB into VB minus RF by RC into VC. Or if I take this negative sign outside, I'll have positive resistance ratios for each of the voltages. So this will be the final expression for output voltage in this circuit, which is known as a summing amplifier under certain situations. Actually, at the present equation, what can I call this as? What is this circuit actually trying to do if you look at the present expression for output? It is just multiplying each of the input voltages with some constant values. Yes or no? A is a constant which is say minus RF by RA, and that negative sign indicates that inputs are given to inverting terminal, therefore we have 180-degree phase shift. So A is given to the, A is the ratio of resistances RF by RA, B is the ratio of resistance RF by RB, so on. So what are we trying to do? We are trying to scale each of the input signals to different constant values. A ratio of resistances is always a constant value, and I am scaling each of the input voltages to various constant values, RF by RA, RF by RB, RF by RC. Hence, it is called a scaling amplifier or a scaling circuit. In the basic form, I can simply call this as a scaling circuit, where it would simply scale the what? It would simply scale the various input voltages by different constant values, and it will also invert because all the values were given to the inverting terminal. Is that clear? Now, coming to how it can be made to work like a summing amplifier. Look at this equation and tell me what should I do if I should take out a common gain for all the three input signals, and I should be able to add the three input signals and multiply it with a gain factor. How will I convert this? Okay, I'll give you the hint. How will I convert this to the form K into VA plus VB plus VC, where this K represents a gain, some common gain. What should I do? How will I extract a common factor out of all these? Simple, if you equate these three resistors RA, RB and RC. So if you are able to equate the three resistors RA equal to RB equal to RC equal to some value R, then you will be able to convert this output into some constant gain times the sum of the inputs. And that's what we are trying to do. So if I equate all these three resistors RA, RB and RC to R, I can take out the common factor as minus RF by R, and within brackets I'll have the sum of the three input signals. So what will the circuit behave as now? It is a summing, it will take the sum of the three input signals and it will multiply it with a gain RF by R. So it is a summing amplifier when we equate the resistors RA, RB and RC. So please remember all these, it will be helpful for you to solve problems correctly. If you remember these things, when it will just take a sum and amplify, as soon as you see this, you'll be able to draw the circuit, you'll be able to, if you see the circuit, you should be able to solve the equation. Okay, now in this case, can you tell me when will I convert it to simply add and invert? Inversion is there, I am not removing the inversion. If I just want to add all the three inputs and I don't want any gain, what should I do? Please answer. Something is asked, I want you to answer. Great, the person who joined now, Kristen and Adarsh. I don't see your audio. Your audio is also not on. Adarsh. Adarsh M, are you there? What do you people do joining without any audio or video turned on? Can somebody tell me what is the condition I should use if I wanted to simply add the three input signals and invert?
RF should be equal to R.
That's all, as simple as that. You have seen that you make RA, RB, RC equal, you will get a common factor outside which will be the gain multiplied with the sum of the inputs. Now if you want only the sum of the three input signals, output should be minus of VA plus VB plus VC. You just have to equate RF to R, or in other words, you have to equate all the four resistors. So there are four resistors in the inverting terminal, RA, RB, RC and RF. You equate all the four, you will get this condition. V0 is minus of VA plus VB plus VC. So here it is acting like a simple adder or a summing circuit. Previously, when you used to take out a common factor or a gain, it would act like a summing amplifier. Here it will be acting like a summing circuit. Okay, next let's see how we can make it like a scaling or weighted amplifier. This you need not do anything because we already discussed. In its original form, it is a simple scaling or weighted amplifier. See, the expression for output voltage for this circuit was, so we had the same circuit where you would give three input signals, VA, VB, VC, through RA, RB, RC, and you would generate the other terminal. Here you would generate the output voltage V0, which was given by this expression. We already derived the expression for the output voltage V0 in this circuit. You can either have a load resistance or you can skip. So with this expression, I clearly showed you this is in the form AVA plus BVB plus CVC, which is a constant times the input signal voltage. Hence, it is just scaling the input voltage to some value. And when all these resistor ratios have different values, A, B, C, all are different. RF by RA represents A, RF by RB is B, and RF by RC is C. All are different. We have different multiplication or scaling factors for the input signals. So I can simply call it as a scaling or weighted amplifier. Okay. So as I told you, minus AVB plus BVB, AVA, BVB, same equation. A, B, C are the scaling or weighing factors. Last, averaging amplifier. Can someone tell me? I need the output voltage to be the average of the three input signals. So I think by now you should be able to guess and tell me what should be the condition for the resistors. Whenever we need to do something like this, to get an output equation like this, from the basic standard equation, this is your basic equation. From this, if I have to get VA plus VB plus VC by 3, what should I consider the relationship between the resistors? Yes? What is the expression which we know? You know, please consider the expression. V0 is minus RF by RA VA minus RF by RB VB minus RF by RC VC. I am putting the minus sign inside, so I have minus sign in all the three terms. So if I want an output voltage expression like this, first thing I should do, I have to equate RA to RB and RC. Equate RA, RB and RC equated to some resistance R. Then what will happen? V0 becomes, I can take out the common factor, minus RF by R in all the three terms, and I will have VA plus VB plus VC inside the brackets. See, if you just equate RA, RB, RC to a resistance R, you will be taking out the common factor minus RF by R, and you will add all the three voltages. Now, if I want to convert it to the form 1 by 3, what should you do? Naturally, you have to choose RF by R as 1 by 3 or what? R is equal to 3 times RF. If you want this ratio to be 1 by 3, you just have to take RF to be 1 by 3 times R or R to be 3 times RF. If you use this condition, say with 3 inputs, this will be the condition. If I have n inputs, if I have VA, VB, VC, VD, VE, VN, n inputs, then this resistance ratio should be chosen as 1 by n whenever you want to convert it as an averaging circuit. Remember, average of n signals will be VA plus VB plus so on, n input values divided by n. Yes or no? This is the average of n input signals. So I have to choose this resistance ratio RF by R as 1 by n. In this case, I have to choose RF by R as 1 by 3. So I'll get the average of the 3 input signals. V0 is equal to minus of VA plus VB plus VC by 3. Is this clear? Any doubts? Now, I want you to think and tell me if in all these cases I am interested in getting a positive output value rather than negative. Everywhere where we have discussed, we are getting the output as negative. But what if I want a positive output voltage instead of negative? Can you tell me what changes should be done? One simple change will help. How will I get there are different ways of doing it. But yeah, you can think and tell me, what should I do? Let's continue with few problems. Yes?
Instead of connecting to another amplifier, if we give it as a feedback to the same amplifier, will it work, ma'am?
You have already given a feedback in this amplifier. This amplifier already has a negative feedback. And how will you give another feedback?
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay,
and moreover, there are 3 input signals. Even that would be a confusion. It's easier to just use. Okay. Another solution which would work, can somebody think? What is another possibility of a solution to get positive outputs? Simple is you use negative inputs. You give the inputs in reverse rather than giving positive terminal to that point. If you give the negative terminal, you are giving a negated input. So negation of negation. Again, it will invert the negative input, you will get a positive value. But that is not preferred because we will assume you don't have control on the inputs. Let's assume you can't change the inputs. You can only use the inputs as they are given and you have to generate a positive output. Means the best solution is use another inverter. Take the output of whatever circuit we have, whether it's summing amplifier, scaling amplifier or averaging circuit or adder, and just pass it through another inverter circuit, you will get a positive output. Okay, all of you take down this problem. Design a linear combination circuit using op-amps to get this output voltage. Minus 2V1, minus 8V2, minus V3. Given the input resistance is greater than or equal to 20K, he is only mentioning the input resistance of the op-amp is high. That means I can use the what? The approximate expressions which we have used. So we can use the approximate expressions which we have used and analyze to get the correct output. So you can assume this, and all the resistances in the circuit should be less than or equal to 200K. Another condition he is putting, you have to take care of that when you design the summing circuit. So what circuit should I design? Is it a summing amplifier, a scaling amplifier or averaging? What circuit is this? Look at this expression for V0. V0 is minus 2V1, minus 8V2, minus V3. So what are we doing to the various input signals? 3 different inputs are scaled to 3 different constant values. They are scaled to 3 different voltages. Hence, It is a simple scaling circuit and I have to do the analysis by considering the original equation only. So let's consider the circuit. Please remember you have to draw the basic circuit. Draw the circuit of this inverting op-amp adding circuit. V1, V2, V3 are the inputs. Let me consider R1, R2, R3 are the resistors. You can take RA, RB, RC also. And RF is the feedback resistance, as you can see. What would be the expression for output voltage? The expression for output voltage we have already derived. It will be minus RF by R1 into V1, RF by R2 into V2, RF by R3 into V3. So the negative of all these three voltages. Okay, the scaling factors are RF by R1 should be equal to 2, as we can see in this required final output voltage expression. RF by R2 should be equal to 8 and RF by R3 should be equal to 1. So you are able to capture what should be the value of the scaling factors or the resistance ratios. Once you do that, you please remember this, very important. Since RF is a common resistance, you can see RF is common to all the ratios. Since RF is common, always assume RF first. Because if you assume R1 or R2 or R3 and start, you will be getting different RF values, which we can't afford. RF is a single resistance, so assume RF first, since it is part of all the three resistance ratios. Therefore, once you assume RF, you know RF by R1 is 2. So what would be the value of R1? R1 will be RF by 2, which will be 200K. Remember, they've told the maximum value of resistance which I can use is 200K. Therefore, I have to use a resistance of only 200K and I am assuming that value, and now you have to find all the other resistors. RF by 2, 200K by 2. Therefore, R1 will be 100K. R2 will be RF by 8. 200K by 8 is 25K. And R3 will be RF by 1, which is 200K. So you will be getting the three resistors R1, R2, R3, which are 100K, 25K and 200K. All will suit the required condition that they should be less than or equal to 200K. Right? So this is the simple circuit which we can design for the given output expression. In order to get this output expression and satisfy this condition, this is a simple design. Okay. Take down the next circuit. Find the output voltage of the 3-input. Find the output voltage of the 3-input adder circuit as shown in this figure. Can you do it? Please try it out. Find the expression for output voltage here. It's very simple. It's the same circuit which we are using again. So we know V0 is defined as minus RF by R1 or RA, whatever. In this case, do you notice one thing? RA is equal to RB is equal to RC, all are 4 kilo ohms. So can I consider all are equal to a single resistance R? I'll use RF by R.
Averaging circuit.
How much? -4, -2, +3. RF is 6K. So I have -6K divided by 4K into -4 -2 is -6 plus 3, which will be -3. I think you'll have 3 by 2.
4.5.
1.5 into -3 or 1.15, 3 is 45. Is it 4.5 volts?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So I hope, however it is given, it should be clear for you to solve. Yes, it is 4.5 volts. So very easily, if you just look at this condition, you can directly know what you should write, what expression for V0. You just take the common factor minus RF by R and take these terms inside. Okay. The next is non-inverting summing amplifier. So let's see what happens. None of you gave me the solution. When I asked, I want a positive output. I think all of you have already studied in basic electronics. So you know that to get the same value of positive output, it would be difficult if I simply shift all the input voltages to the non-inverting terminal. Remember, op-amp has non-inverting and inverting terminals. I was getting negative output because I was giving all the inputs to the inverting terminal. Whereas I will get positive output if I give all the inputs to the non-inverting terminal. So if I would have given all the inputs to the non-inverting terminal, I would have got a positive output surely, but the value of that output signal will not be same as in the previous case, because here the expression for output voltage will take a different value. V0 will it won't remain the same as in inverting. Here we should find V0 newly for this particular circuit. So all of you write down the circuit of op-amp as a non-inverting amplifier. Again, consider 3 input voltages VA connected through resistance. I am using, for simplicity of analysis, in your textbook he has asked us to use a common value of resistance R. Rather than using RA, RB, RC, that would complicate our analysis. Finding expression for V0 will turn out to be much more difficult if I use 3 different resistors here. So I will use a common resistance R, where we will connect the 3 input voltages VA, VB and VC. And as usual in a non-inverting amplifier, we have negative feedback through this resistance RF, and R1 is grounded. Let me call this voltage as V2, this as V1. Let's try to find an expression for output voltage here. Remember, in this circuit, if I have to find an expression for the output voltage, I will have to make use of superposition theorem. If I don't use superposition theorem, I will not be able to simplify and find an expression for the output voltage. How would you use superposition theorem in this circuit? You have to consider only one active input at a time and consider the other input signals to be 0. So let's do that quickly. Let's consider VA to be active and these two to be grounded in the first case. So what will happen to the equivalent circuit? The equivalent circuit will look something like this. You have VA, 1R here, and here I have R in parallel with R connected to ground. because of these two resistors, and this is connected to your non-inverting terminal. As usual, the inverting terminal is connected to the resistance RF and R1, where RF is the feedback. Now it becomes easier to find what will happen to V0. What will be the value of the parallel combination of these two resistors? When I have two equal resistors in parallel, their parallel combination value is half of one of them. Two resistors in parallel, and that too when they are equal, the effective resistance is just R by 2. Now, I want to find what is the voltage at this point V1. How will I find the value of V1? What is the voltage at the non-inverting terminal? You have a total voltage VA connected across the potential divider R and R by 2. It is something like this. See, this is R and this is R by 2. And I am interested in finding this voltage V1, and the voltage here is VA. VA, if you remember, is connected between this point and ground. That's how we connect VA. So can you tell me how will I find V1? What's the expression for V1? Voltage divider rule. V1 will be VA into R by 2 divided by R plus R by 2. As simple as that. Therefore, the voltage V1 here is VA into R by 2 by R plus R by 2. If you can simplify this, I think this will, how much will it come to? VAR by 2, 3R by 2, R by 2 cancels, I'll get VA by 3. Yes or no? I'll be able to get this voltage as VA by 3. On similar terms, just like this, for the second case, we will consider VB is active and VA and VC are grounded. See, VA and VC are grounded, but VB is active. As usual, you have the same set of resistors, all connected to the non-inverting terminal here. And inverting terminal is as before, no changes there. So the same circuit, except that now I am considering what will be the, let me call this as V01. In the second case, you call this as V02 or V0B, whatever you want. When VB is the input, output voltage will be V02. Don't you think you will get a similar equivalent circuit? If VA is active, VA will come through this R, and since VB and VC were grounded, we had these two R in parallel. Here VA and VC are grounded, again I have two resistors in parallel. So it will reduce to the same equivalent circuit. So you will get V02 also as VB by 3. Likewise, the same thing for VC also. Now, the same thing is there. So in effect, what will be the value of the voltage at this terminal? I'll just use an eraser here. The effect of, how do I use superposition theorem? According to superposition theorem, we will consider individual input signals to exist at a given time, and we'll find the output. Later on, what should I do? I should combine the outputs due to every individual signal, or I should add. So as you can see, all these values should be added to give you the final voltage at this point. If you want the final voltage at this point, let me call it V plus rather than V1. the voltage at this point will be VA by 3 plus VB by 3 plus VC by 3. I should add the individual output values which I got by considering each of the cases. So the input here V plus is VA plus VB plus VC by 3. Now this whole circuit reduces to that of an what? A simple non-inverting amplifier. This complete circuit is that of a non-inverting amplifier with V plus as the input. And what would be the output of this non-inverting amplifier? Tell me quickly. Output V0 would be, what's the gain of a non-inverting amplifier? 1 plus RF by R1 into the input signal V plus. So V0 is 1 plus RF by R1 into V plus. Substitute for this value V plus as VA plus VB plus VC by 3. Therefore, you will see the expression for the output voltage. The expression for this output voltage will finally be what? 1 plus RF by R1 into VA plus VB plus VC by 3. This will be the derivation for the given circuit where we have a non-inverting summing circuit. A non-inverting summing amplifier, this is how we are going to derive.